Watch closely. Is this proof of the divine or something else entirely? And I'll be honest, I think it's proof of the divine. In just a moment, I'm going to show you a picture that one of my followers sent to me. It's from her front door camera, which is set off by motion, and she believes she captured an angel. Just a little bit of a backstory. One night, or early morning you might say, around 5:45 a.m., her camera was activated by motion. Something set it off. 3 days later, unfortunately, she miscarried. And then, after reviewing the footage from this camera, she was just curious what set it off. She caught this photo of what she believes to be the angel who come and retrieved the precious soul of her unborn baby and took it to heaven. Sometimes God gives us little signs, just a little nudge to let you know, look, even during these dark times, I'm with you, I've got you. It's terrible, but your precious baby's in my hands. You'll see your precious child again. And here's just a little reassurance to let you know that. Feel free to submit and share any story or picture or video you may have. Check this out. This is the original picture. I want you to look right here. This is this lady's porch. And I'm going to zoom in and circle if you don't see it yet. But if you look closely, right here's the head, wings, where the legs would be. Here you can make it out even more detail. And again, this set off her Ring camera late in the night. And you can clearly see what we would think could be an angel. It's truly remarkable. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you have any kind of evidence like this you would like to share, angelic, paranormal, my email is listed in my bio. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. God bless.
Why should you pray over your food? You used to see people doing that all the time. Now, most people probably pray over their food because that's what they were taught by somebody before them. But why should you truly pray over your food? I don't care if you're eating fast food, the best meal in the world, cooked by a private chef. You should always pray over your food. Why is that? Because your food is energy. Your food is vibration. And anything you consume that's going internal into your body, internal into your body, which is the microcosm to the macrocosm, should be blessed. So every single meal, I thank God, I thank Yeshua, Jesus Christ, Christ Jesus, for the meal that is going to give my body nutrients and the fuel that it needs to continue to live out my experience as a human being here on earth.
Would you ever think that this innocent little face could do anything to hurt you? No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't. Because that's how we get you. That's how we get you. All the time. You think, I grew up in Romania. I'm from a farm. I used to raise the chicken and love them and give them a name. And then when my grandfather will come and say, what are we eating today? I'm like, that one, my favorite one, is going to have the best, juiciest meat. And then I would sit there and watch as they turn my best friend into soup. It's called survival. You think I will not survive? I will. But first, I will just scam you with this cute little innocent face until you sign the papers. And then I'll make you soup.
I saw the tallest mountain on Earth yesterday. Mount Everest is just shy of 9 kilometers tall, and it's about as tall as any mountain could possibly be on Earth. See, mountains can't be infinitely tall, obviously, but they're not just limited by how much material you have to stack, either. Longtime watchers will know that, on this page, it must be physics that constrains the height of mountains. Two pieces of physics, actually, gravity and material strength. The taller a mountain gets, the more pressure is exerted on the bottom rocks by all of the rocks above it. And if the mountain weighs too much, or the rocks are too weak, the rocks at the bottom will compress, shrinking the mountain in the process. And so the compressive strength of the material making up the mountain acts as a limiting factor in the maximum height of that mountain. But if gravity was weaker, then a mountain would weigh less, meaning the same material could support a larger mountain. So the strength of gravity also acts as a limiting factor in the maximum height of a mountain. Now earlier I said that Everest was about as tall as is possible on Earth. By examining the compressive strength of granite, and assuming the mountains are roughly conical in shape, we find that the maximum height before the granite at the bottom starts to compress is about 10 kilometers. It's inversely proportional to the gravitational acceleration, and proportional to the compressive strength. So Everest's 8,849 meters is the same order of magnitude as the maximum possible height. Of course, if you change the shape of the mountain, this number changes, but not by much. Mauna Kea, the tallest mountain in the world if you include undersea mountains, is about 9,330 meters tall, also just shy of this theoretical maximum. And we can test this for other planets too. On Venus, the gravity is about 10% weaker than on Earth, so the maximum mountain size should be about 10% higher, or 11 kilometers. And Scotty Mons, the tallest mountain on Venus, extends 10.7 kilometers above the average radius of Venus, although it does have a lower prominence. On Mars, the gravity is about 2.6 times smaller than Earth's, so the highest possible mountain should be about 26 kilometers. And wouldn't you know it, Olympus Mons, the tallest mountain in the solar system, is about 21 kilometers tall. So it seems the order of magnitude estimate is about right. So try as you might, there will never be a 100-kilometer mountain on Earth, no matter what the tectonic plates do. But no worries, Everest is spectacular enough as is.
If you have ever contemplating on eating papaya seeds as a parasite cleanser, this is the video for you. They 100% work. I would check with your doctor first. In my opinion, I would check with your naturopathic doctor, to be honest, but I'm not a doctor, so please check with any doctor, okay? That's your disclaimer. From what I know, if you're trying to get pregnant or if you are pregnant, do not take the seeds, okay? Check with your healthcare practitioner of choice. I am doing this for the first time. I took a small teaspoon yesterday and I had my first bowel movement today. Yeah, pinworms, okay? A lot of us have some sort of worms. They definitely are there. I was screaming in the car when I looked up what they look like because it is exactly what it looked like in my stool in the toilet. So that's disgusting, and I'm going to finish the rest of the seeds a little bit every day. I will keep you updated. Yesterday was day 1, bowel movement done. Today's day 2, and I'm officially grossed out. And then I'm hearing that you have to do this again 3 months later because there are worms that will lay eggs and then they'll hatch in 3 months. So you may kill all of them now and then the eggs are going to hatch again in 3 months. So that is my advice because that's the research I found. And my experience so far is no intestinal issues when I'm taking the seeds. You're not supposed to chew them. Take them with some lemon or water. Swallow them whole. Be very careful. Let's use our heads, please. And then you can eat the papaya. Of course, the papaya is really good for you. But yes, I am going to take you along this journey. Day 2, or I should say bowel movement 2 of the cleanse. I didn't see anything in the second bowel movement. The seeds definitely go right through you, so you're going to see them in the toilet. Keep doing it. So I took my 3rd teaspoon, made it a little bigger, put some lemon juice. I will keep you updated. Okay, lovelies, bowel movement number 3 on the papaya cleanse. It was beautiful. All the seeds came out, of course. No parasites that I could see. Although I faintly seen little like whitish stuff that was attached to the seeds in my stool, but I am not going to go in there and take it apart. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit, so I'm just going to go with trust that it's doing what it's doing, and we'll check in tomorrow.
These 2 metal spheres are being heated to different temperatures. Let's see what happens if we stick them in some water. All right, in they go. Well, the sphere at the lower temperature was immediately quenched by the water. But what the heck is going on with the hotter sphere? Well, when water contacts this extremely hot sphere, it boils so fast that a protective vapor film is formed. And this vapor layer keeps the liquid water from physically contacting the metal. Well, at least as long as the metal remains hot enough.
My husband asked me if we were going to deworm our kids. Said that it will be good for them. And I was like, I'm sorry, can you say it one more time? Did you say, are we going to deworm our children? Or are you talking about the dogs? He's like, no, are we going to deworm them? Ask my mom. I'm like, sure, I'll ask your mom. I don't know what you're talking about. So I go to his mom and I'm like, I've never heard this before in my life. Am I supposed to be deworming my children? And she dies. She's hysterical because she's like, no, okay, backstory. They're from the Azores, which is like a Portuguese set of islands in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. That's where he was born and raised. He moved to Canada when he was 16 or 17. He was explaining to me that at a young age, they're out working with the animals. They're shoveling manure, like all the things. So sometimes they have to like give deworming type medicine to the kids to avoid that. And he thought that this was like a normal thing and asked me, when are we going to deworm the kids? And there's a first time for everything.
If this found you, then your angels want you to know that today, when you see this, and it doesn't matter when you find it, because you will only find it when it is meant for you, because I never use any hashtags or any trending sounds or any sounds for that matter, and I manifest that the right people find this message when they need it most. And what your angels want you to know is, right now is about rest and realignment. Trust that the universe and the angels are preparing you for something greater. And right now, what you need more than anything is to make sure that you're in alignment with your next steps. But your next steps are going to be a lot, a lot of changes, and require a lot of energy. And so you need to take care of yourself right now. So self-care and rest is so, so important. Look at it like this. Every single night when we go to plug our phone in, right? If our phone doesn't charge all the way to 100% because maybe there's something wrong with the battery or we plug it in late, we're not going to be running at our best the next day, just like our phone isn't going to have a full optimal charge. So your angels want you to know that right now is about getting into alignment, which means are you preparing and planning what steps to take next and how to take them. One day at a time, they say. Life is like a ladder. You start at the bottom and slowly every little step is going to take you closer and closer to your dreams.
Most men, whether they know it or not, they're scanning for strength and specifically scanning for strength and sorting for complementary strength. So I'm not looking for someone like me. I'm looking for someone who's strong, not like me. So unconsciously filling a team, unconsciously making a hunting tribe, right? He's fast, he's strong, he's accurate, he or she, we don't even care. Truthfully, it's just competency to produce the result. And it's something huge for a woman to understand that men are looking for in a mate. Complementary strength. They're not looking to compete. They're looking for how are you a genius in a different way that I'm a genius? How are you brilliant? Oh my gosh, she's so strong like that, right? Complementary strengths.
There's an old saying, what's the difference between spirituality and religion? Religion is for people who are afraid of going to hell. Spirituality is for people who have already been there.
Do you guys know that being dirty and gross might actually save your life one day? If you have a couple of these empty coffee cups in your car, you boil water inside of this guy. All we gotta do, fill it up with water, place it right in the fire. The way this works is wherever the water's touching, it won't burn the cup. So I intentionally left a little bit out so you can see it's gonna light that part on fire, but then it'll actually boil the water. Slob's just boiled water in a paper cup that we left in our car. So, you should probably send this to somebody that also has a disgusting car. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. See you in the woods.
They got her. They got her. I will give you 5 seconds to guess who this is. You guys are never going to guess. Who is that? Is that Fergie? Who the heck is that? They're literally all looking the same now. Tell me who this is. How are people 50 years old looking 20 years old now? It's giving me major Shania Twain vibes. You guys remember the Shania Twain video where she's moving all robotically, not even acting herself? Same with Kate Beckinsale. Yes, that's who this is. This is the Kate Beckinsale that I remember. And even back in the day, like just with a glance, it literally looks like Kristen Stewart with a brown wig on. Tell me I'm wrong. Not too long ago, she was in the hospital wearing fans for her bizarre posts with her looking like this with a giant bow on her head. Next thing you know, she's back in the public eye looking better than ever. Nice coffee cup. Does anybody remember back in the day when Kate and Matt Rife hooked up? Way back in 2017 when he was 21 and she was 43. Which means she wasn't getting this Matt Rife or this Matt Rife. She got this Matt Rife. Totally given Hollywood vibes. if you know what I mean. She actually has a history of hooking up with young men in the industry when she hooked up with 22-year-old Goody Grace when she was 46. And then again with Machine Gun Kelly. And then it makes you wonder, where did they meet at? Who knows? But this is not the same Kate Beckinsale, and this is not the same Kate Beckinsale that we remember. Just like one big tangled spider web. What is happening here?
When your thumb is longer than the third phalange of your index finger, this is how you measure it. This means these people are clear-minded and they're determined to carry out their goals.
Interesting, right? But not in other places, my friends. Some good website came across some tunnel system here. And some definitely crazy tunnel system. And guess what? They invited themselves in and did this exploration for us to see here. This is quite unbelievable. When I see fellow earthlings full of good vibes going inside tunnels that they don't know where they lead to, I'm always surprised and I'm fascinated by the level of their curiosity and good vibes. My friends, you see him coming from this side of the world. Caves and tunnels, my friend, they give scary vibes. You don't know what you might come across in there. You see, I'm usually surprised English people. They go inside the tunnel, they go far, far, far. Somewhere where even when you reach and see something to chase you, I don't know how you can go back, you see. But anyway, this tunnel system looks like it even had a radio system down there. So it's crazy. Looks like the creatures or people down there used to use some trains or some.
You will never
things
find
there.
anything new. Any millionaire device of today has been in the Bible forever. So let's not waste any time. Here are three of them. Number one, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again but expecting a different result. In Proverbs 26:11 it says, "As a dog returns to its vomit, so a fool repeats his foolishness." Number two, you're never going to be perfect, but that is okay because perfect was never the goal. Progress is the goal, but progress takes commitment. So if you're going to do anything, do it well. In Ecclesiastes 9:10 it says, "Whatever you do, do well, for when you go to the grave, there will be no work or planning or knowledge or wisdom." Number three, the most important rule of business and finance that billionaires today follow the same advice: don't lose money. In Ecclesiastes 5:14 it says, "Money is put into risky investments that turn sour and everything is lost. In the end, there is nothing left to pass on to one's children." And if my profile right now has a red ring around it, that means I'm live, so come hang out.
I learned this from the book called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, so I'm going to pass it to you because it's going to blow your mind. Rejection is a necessary and inherent part of our identity, which means it is our identity because we are defined by what we choose to reject. Have you ever heard the saying, like, you accept the love that you think you deserve? So like when you see someone in a toxic relationship or you see someone not really getting what they deserve in a relationship, in a job, in whatever it is, they are subconsciously admitting to themselves and to their mind, this is what I deserve. Otherwise I wouldn't accept it, right? So this quote that I just read you is the same exact theme. We are defined by what we choose to reject. So I want you to start focusing not just on what you do and not just on what fills up your day and fills up your schedule, but what do you definitely not let fill up your schedule? How do you protect your values and how do you protect what you deserve by saying no to certain things? Identify what you say no to.
Do you know how to use these 5 Latin abbreviations? IE stands for id est. It means that is, and it's used to restate whatever came before it. I want to buy property on the world's most exclusive coastline, i.e. lays down on sea. EG stands for exempli gratia. It basically means for example, and it's used to give an example of whatever came before it. I enjoy watching the world's funniest comedians, e.g. Amy Schumer and James Corden. ETC stands for etc. It basically means and other similar things, and it's used to show that a list is incomplete. There are other items we could have put in the list, but we didn't. Please, please, please don't write it as ECT. That stands for electroconvulsive therapy. Word up, Hemingway. Example sentence: the world's sexiest men include Brad Pitt, Laurie Knox, Jason Momoa, etc. NB stands for nota bene, or note well. I always read it as please note. It's used to highlight important information. For example, at the bottom of a menu, it might say, NB, some of our dishes may contain nuts. Sic comes from a longer Latin phrase, thus had it been written. It's used to show that the error in my writing is not my mistake, I'm just presenting it as it was in the original. If somebody says, I should have gone home, and I write that down, I don't want you to think I'm the kind of animal who writes should have. So I'm going to stick a little sick in there, and that lets you know that I'm not the sick beast, it's the other guy.
Anybody who wants to be self-reliant or wants to homestead should be planting mulberry trees. The mulberry tree is an incredibly fast-growing tree that is an excellent source of feed for your animals. Oh, and it also produces these things called mulberries that are delicious. And I'm not saying feed your animals mulberries, but you can. I'm talking about the leaves. The leaves of a mulberry tree are a high-protein feed source that is incredibly palatable, meaning animals like it. This means that you can buy less feed for your pigs and chickens, reducing costs. And if you're interested in some weird livestock, mulberry leaves is how you raise silkworms. But it's not just a feed source, it's not just a fruit tree, it's also an incredible firewood. It's almost like it's a really useful tree. Check out my book. Mulberry wood is considered a premium firewood. It's very high in BTUs, meaning it produces a lot of heat. And it's also a fruity wood, a fruit tree wood. And just like any fruity wood, that means it's really good for smoking meat.
If John the Baptist knew who Jesus was and announced it to the world, and that's what he did, that's why he was sent to be Christ's forerunner. Even Isaiah chapter 40 prophesied that he would do that. He would prepare the way for the Lord. Then why did he later on doubt? Now, it's amazing to read in John chapter 1 how strong and how firmly John the Baptist announces that Jesus is the one. I know he's the one. I saw the Spirit descend upon him. God told me the one you see the Spirit descend upon, he is the one who baptizes with the Holy Spirit. So there was no doubt in John's mind. Jesus came to be baptized by him, and John said, I need to be baptized by you, and are you coming to me? And Jesus told John the Baptist, yes, permit it to be so now. That's another sermon. But anyway, later on in John's life, he sends some of his associates to Jesus to ask him this question: are you really the Messiah? Are you really the coming one? After he's been preaching and announcing, putting his life on the line in a very real way, announcing that Jesus is the Messiah, he comes to a point where he says, are you really him? Well, look at the context. It's found in, I think, Matthew chapter 11. John has been arrested, and he is now in a dungeon of a prison, and it's been a while, and Jesus has not come to get him out. Now, he knows Jesus has performed miracles. He's been hearing about all the things that Jesus has done, and why has Jesus not come to get me out of this prison? I could die in here. So Jesus was not doing things the way that John thought he should do it. John the Baptist had a period of doubt because he was depressed and he was discouraged. John was used to being out in the wilderness, preaching. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. I've been called to preach, and here he is. And you can just imagine, here he is within these four walls, and he's just, he's really, really suffering. And Jesus does not drop everything and run to John's aid and explain everything to him. Jesus tells the disciples of John the Baptist, the ones who came with the question, he said, go tell John that the lame are walking, the deaf are hearing, the blind are seeing, and tell him this: blessed is the one who does not fall away because of me. In other words, things are going just like they're supposed to go. And don't lose your faith, John, because I don't do things the way you think that I should. Blessed is the person who doesn't fall away on account of the way I do what I am here to do. And John never got out of prison. He was beheaded. We have moments of doubt, and we ask questions just like John asked. Why? Why is this happening? Are you really the coming one? It got so bad for John that he said, are you really the coming one, or should we look for another? Are you really him? And that was his way of saying, why am I in this prison? Well, Jesus loved John, went on to say there's never been a greater man than John the Baptist, and yet John was killed. We don't understand everything God does, but don't fall away from God because he does things you don't understand. And, if I was writing a book trying to make up a man and trying to make up a religion, I would have left that part out. John the Baptist was one of the strongest, most faithful men in the Bible. But he had a point where he had doubts and he had questions. You have them, I have them, we all have them at times. Don't lose your faith because God does things and allows things, even to you, that you don't understand.
How sharp was the Neanderthal spear? Let's test it out. But before we test it, I want to talk about what a Neanderthal spear point was like and how it differs from the spear points made by other species or at other times in history. So a Neanderthal spear point was actually made with one strike from a stone hammer. So they had a piece of stone, this is actually the same piece this came off of, and with one strike they struck off a ready-made point. And this differs from something like a Clovis point where you have to do hundreds if not thousands of strikes to create a finished point. Though it's left with this unifacial shape that's not necessarily the best for being a spear point because it can break easily and it won't necessarily go in straight, but it does have razor sharp edges. So a Clovis point made by modern humans might technically be more advanced, but if we test the sharpness, 1170. Now let's test the Neanderthal point, 1030 or 1030. So is it sharper? Maybe.
Have you guys heard about Omar Odavi? This is him on this chair. Scientists are trying to study his blood type and the metal content in his blood because for whatever reason he attracts sea life. They don't know if it's mercury because he does have a high mercury count in his blood, but whenever he gets close to the ocean, animals are automatically attracted to him. They don't know if it's the magnetic field. They don't know what it is, but you can see here they were trying to do a control group study where there was another guy that went on the beach in this chair and nothing came, and he sits and all these sharks come, and you can see that there's some stingrays in there. It's quite incredible. I wish that, part of me wishes that I had this ability, but it does come with its downside. He has really poor circulation to his hands and his feet, so he constantly has to have them warmed and have heat pads on them. And Everest is out of the question because they would freeze off right away. But quite cool.
This creator made a great video. He wants to know why somebody went from this to this, and what's up with the pearl necklaces. Oh, I can tell you exactly what it is. There is witchcraft, voodoo, that involve pearl necklaces. It could be a possibility of why. This kid has one. This guy has a whole outfit of pearls. Let's not forget him. Usher has one. Justin. Pearls, pearl necklaces, is always incorporated in lunar magic. Since the moon is influenced by the oceans, pearls come from the oceans, from bodies of water. It is all connected. It also has to do with men creating a translucent liquid necklace or something of the sort. I can't say more explicitly what it is. Use your imagination. As a ritual. It symbolizes this white translucent liquid. So if they're wearing that necklace, that means that they did that ritual. If we're talking about voodoo witchcraft, of course. The white pearl symbolized the ritual of the new beginning. It is a great tool used in moon magic and moon lunar rituals. On a pleasant note, it promotes the divine feminine, purity, protection, and emotional healing. Dark voodoo magic spell, the lunar spells, that usually when we see something like this, that a lot of celebrities are doing the same thing, it's always part of a common ritual that they participated in. It's like saying, I went up a peg in the club. Or they have been illuminated with knowledge. But before they can be illuminated, there is a lot of weird hazing. Why do I know? Because I know the magic. I know the rituals. I know the spells. I know the families. I know how it works.
Well, my friend, thanks for watching all this web. Clearly, there's lots of crazy stuff in this world. Others even extremely mysterious. What have you seen that would trigger mysterious thoughts in your life? Please tell us in the comment section. Now, my friend, let's read from the Book of Wisdom. This one has been serving us a big deal. And it says, how precious to me are your thoughts, O God. This one, let's, I don't think, my friend, are you hearing me? Let's finish this one. This one I have to read to you in, it says, how precious to me are your thoughts, O God. How vast is the sum of them. Were I to count them, they would outnumber the number of grains. Hey, when I wake, I am still with you. This, my friends, is from Psalm 139, 17 and 18. That's quite interesting. Let's give thanks to our Creator as we wrap up the show. Dear Lord Father, thank you for this far. Thank you for this viewer, dear Lord, that you have been with to this point. All glory, Father, belong unto you. Dear Lord Father, this child of yours, as we wrap up this video, may you bless them, Father. Show your light to them, Father. May your love reach them in their lives, Father, and your goodness. Forgive them all their sins, Father, and walk with them. In your mighty name, Jesus Christ, we do pray, trusting and believing. Amen. Till next time, my friends, peace and love be with you. Bye-bye. Good vibes.